The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to it, good fair listener. I'm Nikki. Brian Frangie is not here with us because he's driving. I picture him like still driving to the Rocky Mountains. Me too. He's probably arrived.
I see him like going around a turn, like trying to avoid
a mountain,
sleet, snow,
in like a little tiny car.
Yeah.
Yes, with all of their stuff packed, like they're moving across the country, but it's like they're just driving to their wedding location, which I'm going to tomorrow. But why did they get there? How many days do you have to be there before a wedding?
Anya? Didn't he just get there yesterday?
Okay, maybe, but he's getting married Saturday. I would be like, let's get in Friday.
God, I'm nervous. My stomach just flipped because I'm getting married on a Saturday. Sorry, I'm getting married on a Sunday. And I am just getting there on, I think, when am I getting there? The Saturday. We're having dinner on Saturday before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I think he's probably just going up there to hike and stuff. And they're having a bigger wedding than you are, I think.
Okay, good. That relieves me. I just am having like a daytime, springtime lunch that I also happen to be getting married at with a small coterie of friends.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not as, I don't understand going up early, but I'm sure it makes sense. I'm sure they're doing something that is necessary. I never understand getting early to anything.
It could also be that Allie's family and Brian's family are not in the same location, and it's just a way for them to do activities together.
Like all hang out. Yeah.
I think he's setting up a huge tent just in case it rains. I just want to see him doing manual labor.
It is going to rain all weekend, unfortunately.
It is, and it's an outdoor thing.
Yes. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, I'm fine with it, but it's not my wedding.
If Taylor Swift can do it, she can perform in a typhoon.
I think Brian will be fine. Yeah. Didn't he say he doesn't care if it rains? Was that him?
Yeah. What is it called in that New York Times thing when it rains on your wedding day? It's like the devil.
Alanis Morissette.
The devil had sex with your grandma or something?
Oh, that was something Carlisle said. Not the New York Times.
You were saying the New York Times thing. It sounds like it's an article. It was a quiz to place you geographically by
regional accents or whatever. Regional
and it said
phrases.
if it rains when it's sunny out, it's like called the devil beats its wife. And I think that's what Carlisle said too.
Yeah, that's where I heard it.
It's so strange. And like, it's also, we have like wife beaters. The fact that we just call them that.
Yeah, and it's funny.
For like a tank top is so funny. We don't even think about it. Oh, I'm just going to pair this with like a cute wife beater. What the fuck, man?
It's really fucked up.
Oh my God. I'm going to wear my infanticide shorts and then pair it with a cute, like, I can't even think of other murders. My molestation moccasins.
And my suicide belt.
And my suicide belt. I mean, a lot of belts could do that. Some have. A lot of people that they think commit suicide are just trying to jerk off. You know that?
Yes.
And then a lot of people
tried the choking thing.
That get,
have you?
What do you? I've never tied anything around my neck to like choke myself, but yeah, I've been choked during sex.
Is it great?
I'm a millennial. Someone had a joke online the other day that was like, she was like, I'm not from America. She was like Irish, and she got choked, and she was like, I didn't know. I thought he was going to strangle me. We were just making out on the couch, and he went to grab my neck. I forget who it was. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you credit, but it was so funny.
Katie Boyle.
Oh, really? Good job.
I think I follow her too. She's a funny comic. She was like, "Is this just a weird American surprise or something?"
Because you would think someone's going to kill you if they start just throttling your neck, but that is like a normal thing now. You see all the time, and you've never once had any pressure on your neck during sex, Anya?
No,
I can't believe this.
I can't either.
What?
I just tried it the other day.
It's like the only way.
I'm so delicate.
Oh, really?
I can't see Anya into that.
Wait, so are you doing it? Do you ever do it to yourself when you're?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I probably don't even notice I'm doing it. My thought. Do it to myself while I'm masturbating. I mean, I know where you're going with this.
So how do you do it when you're doing so many other things with your hands?
I don't know that I've done it to myself, but I guess I would, or it's not out of the question, but yeah. And the trick is you don't actually squeeze, you just squeeze, you just place it there. And from there, if I'm talking to men or women who, are with people who want to be choked, also, it's not like you actually choke them that can really damage stuff. And it's the sides of the neck where like the blood flow is. You just kind of put your little bit of pressure on there. And if you block the blood flow, there's just something so hot about not being able to fucking breathe when you're trying to come. Yeah. Do you understand this, Noah?
So I get choked all the time in jiu-jitsu. And, you have to tap out of it. Otherwise, you'd pass out.
Wet mat. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. Shit all over the
Mojado. Yeah.
Yes. I saw a sign that the other day. I thought of you.
Mato Mojado. Yeah.
So you have to, so basically it's just like you like start seeing a little bit of like white and like stars.
You see the light. Yeah. Yeah. You start seeing, God starts to be like, come here, come to your grandmother. She's waiting for you. And then you come.
And you come.
Yeah. And then you live 60 more years. But you almost get there. Yeah, you start to see a little twinkle or like...
Yeah, it just gets like a little like fuzzy and then you have to tap. Otherwise you will pass out. You won't be dead, right. But you're cutting off oxygen to your brain.
You're talking about the mat. Yeah, on the mat. But do you, in the sex, do you ever?
I like it. I wouldn't want to be choked like I am in jiu-jitsu during sex, but I like the forcefulness that it implies.
Just the hold there. Yeah. Like the hold of the like, hold. I can't get away from you. I just like to be used as, yes. I like to be holes. And I like to be like used. Like, I don't like to be, if I happen to come, like, I want that to be like, I'm in trouble for doing that. Like, I'm just a futon, like that someone's humping. Like, I want to be, I don't know what that fetish is. It's probably like objectifying myself, literally. I don't know what that is, but I like most of my fantasies always gear towards like whenever my partner's trying to like actually give me pleasure, I'm like, take that out of the equation. Like, I'm not someone who deserves it or needs it.
Well,
I am just something that,
with successful people. Like, they're so used to being revered.
I thought you were going to say Succession fans. And I was like, probably. There's something fucked up about us if we like.
Yeah. No, I think people that are successful and revered probably want to be treated like shit sometimes because they're so sick of all the yes men around them. And, can I get you a water?
I'm sure there's something to that, but I think that most successful people secretly think they're pieces of shit. And so they want that acted out in their like they can't admit it to anyone because then they would be their empire would topple, even though I talk about it constantly that I don't like myself. But they will, so they can only let it out there of where they truly feel what their mom told them they were or whatever. They can let it out in there because it's like when you say things when you're having sex, you don't follow up and talk about them outside. Like, it's just it's a safe space. It's almost like a therapist's office where you can kind of let out things that if we both have this tacit agreement during sex, not just, I'm not talking about me and my partner, but like we collectively, where it's like, we say things and they're not going to get brought up outside of this, like you don't have to hold me to anything I say in here. And so I can kind of let out all of my deepest fears or insecurities about myself and get treated like a dumb cum whore that just needs dicks and cum. And that's all that I live off of. That's so stupid.
Like Connor, he just lives up.
Yeah.
Nothing. Doesn't need love. He's just, what does he live off?
Yeah, the brother in Succession. He's like, I'm like a tree that lives off the insects that die inside it. I don't need love. You guys are little love sponges. And I have learned how to adapt to not having love. Yeah, I like being that, but for cum.
I'm learning to adapt to a life without Succession. It's been depressing, I have to say.
Yeah, it is. I'm like searching every night to find a new thing. I did watch Tar the other night. Based on your recommendation and like everyone's recommendation.
What is Tar?
It's her name is Lydia Tar. I don't like that. I wish they would have named it something different because it just sounds like I don't know. It just didn't sound appealing to me. The Tar with like a weird umlaut, not even an umlaut, like an accent over the A. but she is a composer. She's a maestra. Instead of maestro, because I guess they change it if you're a lady with a stick. And she is the most prolific maestro or maestra that's like literally ever lived, like up there with Gershwin in this world that we're living in. And, you know, she's done movie scores. She's EGOTed, essentially. She has EGOTed in the movie. Like, she's just the most renowned, most upheld, and just the smartest. And she does speak like this. Immediately you are struck by how she talks. It is like this, isn't it, Anya?
Yes, starring Cate Blanchett.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
a
Cate
lesbian
Blanchett.
She is a lesbian. Aesthetic
lesbian.
wardrobe.
Yes, and perfect skin and perfect hair and just a perfect vocabulary and the way she talks. And she does like special lectures, and she's written a book, and she's on a book tour. And then it's about how she's essentially gets Me Too'd. You know, she's like this powerful lesbian who has taken in young girls and like under her wing and mentored them, and surrounded herself with like a bevy of young girls. And she, and it kind of comes out that she might be doing some twisted shit.
She's so glad you watched it.
Yeah. She's amazing. Cate Blanchett is incredible. She learned German for this. She learned how to play piano, and like, she's incredible. She's so the character. You don't question that this person is an actor even for a second. It's just next level stuff. Can I just say also though that like, I'm obsessed with Cate Blanchett as an actress. I'm not a Cate Blanchett. When people are fans of actors, you need to check yourself. Like, I don't understand people who are like, I love like, I guess like if you like someone's acting, that makes sense. If you're like, I want to see everything this person is in. But if you like saw them in the street and were like, I want to have dinner with this person, they're actors. They're like boring. They're obsessed with this one thing. They're good at this one thing. They don't reveal anything about themselves ever to you. You don't really know who Margot Robbie is at all. And yes, am I saying this as someone who's revealed way more of myself than these actors? Yes. Is this me tooting my own horn a little bit? Yes. I don't feel like they should be upheld. Do you know, like, if you ask most people, like, who are the 5 people you'd want to have dinner with? They'd list a bunch of actors who would bore the fuck out of you talking about their technique. Bradley Cooper, do you really want to hang out with him? Do you know anything about him other than maybe a couple, like, anecdotes he's told on the Colbert couch that make him seem relatable, that was highly rehearsed and produced by a producer? You don't know these people at all. There are some actors, Jason Bateman, who has a podcast. Any actor who has a podcast and it actually lets you in on who they are, then maybe you can really like them and be like, I'm such a fan of them. But most actors pass, man. Like, I like your work.
Have you ever met an actor and kind of had this shock afterwards? That they're so different from who you thought they were?
Yes. I'm like, can't you act like an interesting person? you play one on screen. How did it, you meet someone on Raya who is like, oh my God, he's so handsome. And you watch all his stuff and you're like, he's so adorable. And then you meet them in person and you're like, he's so lame and he takes acting so seriously when it's so stupid. You're playing make-believe. There's no difference between you and like a kid on a playground. Being like, I'm playing, this is school. I'm the teacher. Like, but actors don't you think, is there anything to this? I'm just confused when people like worship actors.
Definitely.
Musicians, I feel like, give you a little bit more of a sense of who they are, but actors aren't really writing.
I think it's because musicians help you feel your feelings, so you get like emotionally connected to them. But I totally agree with you. And maybe, not to like humble brag or whatever, but just like working in radio and meeting actors and stuff on press tours, I just was like, oh, I'm not really, they're nice people, but I'm not really impressed and I'm not going to like worship them. There's just something icky about worshiping another human.
I used to worship them. I used to worship like Dawson's Creek and Katie Holmes and like all these, Jennifer Aniston. I hear she's a good hang. Okay, fine. That's great. Like, not all of them are awful by no means. Henry Winkler, remember when he came into the studio? He was a fucking gem.
Oh, yeah.
There are some that are like truly great humans and interesting off camera, but I think we should, and I'm not asking people to give a shit about me. I'm so much more interested in comedians and people who are sharing of themselves, but also not self-help people on Instagram. No more of these people who are sharing, who are trying to get you to live a better life. I'm just so sick of it. I'm muting them all. I don't want any of it, of like the keys to a good day, waking up. At first, I wake up. I was just
going to send you that today.
I can't, you know what I mean? Like these, I've talked about them before. They annoy me. And sometimes you get little nuggets of like, wow, that's really inspirational. But this girl the other day, I sent it to you, Anya. You saw that girl.
Good morning, guys. I just want to remind you, here's your daily reminder to take 10 minutes outside under the sun, out in the real world before you get on with your busy day. You might think it's not important to get this vitamin D and connect with nature, but it's the most important thing you'll do today.
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. It did, making me sending this to you to make fun of it, did get me to actually today take the long walk home from Starbucks to get a little bit more sun and not be on my phone and like breathe. But I was sipping Starbucks
outside at Starbucks, just like laying out.
I was going into a deposition hearing. I was stressed sipping Starbucks, chugged it, a whole venti extra hot by the end of the block. But I did go the long way to soak up the sun and take that extra 10 minutes. But my annoyance with that clip was the fact that she posted, she's going to see it. I know someone's going to see this and send it to her. And then it's going to be like, hey, I really didn't appreciate that you called. Like, I actually was trying to help people. I know you were, girl. I actually think your heart is in the right place. Mine is not. So I can't stomach it. But you
Nikki's
have
heart
to
is
admit
30
to yourself,
degrees to the left.
If you see it's my heart is like,
her doctor has actually said
starting to come out of
place.
my ass. Yeah. She posted this and then she showed that like you should schedule it every day in your calendar. This was the point that annoyed me. Are you kidding me?
I wasn't wearing my readers.
No,
the rest was a little square.
Oh yes. So within this video, which I did actually benefit from, I was like, I do need to soak up the sun a little bit more. There was a screen grab of her calendar that day.
Oh God.
Okay. And it said 10 minutes of like sun time or whatever. But then she didn't crop it in a way that she cropped it in a way that you could still see some other stuff she had on the calendar. And it was like, meeting with my book editor, an hour. And then it was like meeting to come up with tour merch designs, approval of editing. Like there was just 3 other meetings on there that you could see within a 3-hour span, that if you are looking at that, you feel like shit about yourself. Because I literally looked at my calendar and I go, I had so much to do yesterday. I had tons to do, but I felt worthless. That made me feel worse about myself than it did make me feel better. And I think most of this self-help stuff is always laced with like, I'm better than you, bitch. And this is my life. And I'm guessing that I know she posted that calendar to show us how busy she was, which is okay. We have to brag. Otherwise, people don't know what we're doing. Yesterday, I was at the Muni, which is an 11,000 seat outdoor theater to go see the musical, the Carole King musical, Beautiful. And I went with Chris, my boyfriend, and his mom, and she got us tickets. It was so lovely. But I got there and I was like, oh my God, Chris, take a picture of me with this sold out 11,000 seater outdoor pavilion. Okay. Take a picture with me. And we were kind of in the front, so it looked like I was like maybe on stage. And I go, I'm going to post. We forgot to do it, but I was like, I wish I would have done it. I want to post sold out in Birmingham. Love you guys. And who the fuck would ever question that? No one. People would just go, she's selling out in Birmingham. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start subtly bragging in my post. I want everyone who listens to the show to know I know what I'm doing.
Right. Only the besties will be in on the joke. That's the genius of it.
Let me hashtag it with something so everyone knows when I know what I'm doing.
Just hashtag SB, subtle brag.
Oh, that's humble brag. Yeah, I'll just hashtag it HB. But no. It's not a humble brag. I'm not trying to do this. I'm literally trying to manipulate the system to show you that bragging will get me like more things. And I want you to know that I'm in on it. But I could have done that.
Fake humble brag.
Yeah, that's good. FHB. Okay, I'll try to remember to do that. People will just be like, this is a great one. I'm like, no, that was really me just bragging. And that is an accomplishment.
Well, this is like what J-Lo and famous people do to find out who in their camp is a mole. They start feeding fake stories to people in their inner circle. And then if it gets to the Inquirer, they're like, all right, I know exactly who I can't trust.
That's really good. That's like when you sign up for things and they give your email and you have an email account that's just for if they sell your date, like to those things. And then Chris sees, or he has like a fake name. So if he ever gets spam mail or something that's like to Crunch Convy or whatever, he's like, oh, this person sold my data. Not that he can keep track, but it's a good idea. But I was said to Chris, I was like, what town should I say I'm in? Because it's like outdoors, summertime. And he was like, Birmingham is perfect because I don't tour there. I don't have enough fans in the Birmingham area. I never would tour there, I don't think. It's okay that I'm not. And most people would not question it. No one's gonna. Your tour dates are also, if someone goes, was Nikki really in Birmingham? If you go to nikkiglaser.com, it's only my current tour date. So if I was there last night, it's not listed anymore. You're not gonna find it. It would be brilliant.
An 11,000 seater in Birmingham is hilarious.
Yeah, outdoor theater in Birmingham. I sold it out. I'm Bert Kreischer, baby. Okay, well, we'll take a break and be back after this. All right, we're back. I just sprayed some of my daily throat spray, immune support, Beekeeper's Natural. I got all this shit for my throat. None of it works. It's
Are
just
you feeling
deteriorating.
sick or the throat's just hurting?
No, it's just always irritated. None of my subliminal messaging to myself about being the best singer in the world is happening because I cannot sing. I haven't been able to sing for a week and a half, 2 weeks. At this point, I canceled my lesson today. It sucks.
Do you feel like there's something that needs to be said that you aren't saying in your personal life?
Yeah, because... Ooh. Yes, Noah, thank you for saying that.
Stop strangling me, Chris.
No, more.
I mean, yeah, that might be impacting
well, that's
your chords.
My dad's a singer and talks a lot. He never has any issues with his voice. I don't want to say never, but I don't remember any time in my childhood where my dad couldn't sing or had to take any time off. And this happens to me constantly. I'm going to get choked up even talking about it because it just sucks. Because it is a reflection of like you're not saying something that's locked inside of you, like your throat chakra or whatever. I'm fucked. I don't know how to fix it. And if you try to take time off, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. If you take time off, no one believes you that you can't really like hang out. So your social life gets diminished because that's what has to go first. So you can't talk anymore. People kind of even don't believe you. I went to the concert last night. I was supposed to go to dinner with Chris and his mom and I canceled on that because I was like, I can't talk. And she's like, well, I was going to get us tickets to this musical. And I was like, well, I can go to that because I can't talk. But it seemed like I was just like lying. Like, that sounds more fun than a dinner. I'll go to that. And I'm talking at the musical because people are talking to me. What do I say? I can't. Right. So it just sucks. And all I want to do is sing. I don't want to talk. I can't do that at all. And it's just I can't even sing along to music in the shower. It just blows. I'm just feeling sorry for myself a little bit. Just letting that out a tiny bit. And then last night I had I always have this recurring dream. Well, last night was really rough. I had a dream I was raped and I was watching it.
Oh my God.
I was watching my own rape. And then two people were doing it. It was like him and another guy. And I was going to report it. I was watching myself. Who knows what this even means? Well, I might, because in the middle of the night, I Googled dream watching your own rape. And then I fell asleep as I was reading the fucking bot description. All these dream interpretations are written by bots. None of it makes any sense. And so, there's obviously something going on with me psychologically that I am needing to process because I got raped in my dream last night and it was really ongoing and it was long and it turned into this whole episode where his girlfriend found out about it and she was going to cover it up too. And I knew I wasn't going to be believed. There was no way, for whatever reason, I woke up with this feeling of like, and this person, I was like, if I ever meet them again, this will be so lasting with me that they raped me. Oh. That even though this person did not rape me in real life, not even close, I'll be disgusted with them if I see them. Like, this is going to solidify it that I will never want to have this person in my life again. And it was
so
just
the person in the dream is someone you actually know.
Yes, the person who raped me is someone I know. And
what do they mean to you? Obviously anonymous, but like what are your true feelings about this
betrayal
person in your daily life?
And like I guess betrayal and just me being stupid and like all of those things, unfinished like anger, a repressed anger that I haven't gotten to express, and just feeling like an idiot and feeling like I'm the one who's like the joke. And I always encounter him and his little cohort that I feel like I'm the idiot. I always encounter them in dreams and I never win. They always win. The story never finishes the way I used to want it to finish. This is all based on something that happened that I wanted to finish a certain way. In my true life now, I do not want that. I'm so glad it didn't finish that way. But it reoccurs, and then I always think in the dream, like, this is my dream. I get to finally have this go the way I want it to. It never, ever goes that way. They always end up laughing at me and I get physically hurt in some way. And last night I was raped. What the fuck, man?
I woke up like
crying and like shaking and like so distraught that I was like, oh my God, like that really felt real. Like that was no nonsense, man. Like that was a different kind of dream. Rape. Yeah, that was like, I mean, I'm not comparing it to what actual victims feel, but man, I was in it. It was, and I was watching it, which I do believe is like a thing that happens to people. Not like, I'm not talking like at all like I was raped. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I had a dream that I was. It's like that Uber driver that I met that said that he met Jesus and he's like, it was a dream. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you met Jesus, but it just felt, it was wild. And so
well, you've
obviously
been violated in some way in your real life, and your subconscious feels like you have these unexpressed feelings. It's like what you were just saying about your throat chakra. You cannot get the stuff out, or you feel like you're not allowed to express yourself. And even in the dream,
what am I not expressing? I fucking have a podcast where I say I want to kill myself sometimes. Like how? What is it?
It's probably something
I literally
unresolved.
don't know.
It's something unresolved, and in our dreams, like the reason we have dreams is because our brain is trying to purge these thoughts, and it could just be like your brain trying to get rid of this issue between you and this person, but it just keeps getting locked in because it's unresolved.
It's kind of it's bizarre, and I do believe in dream analysis to like let you know what's going on in your life. So I'm not saying it's not that, but I just don't know what's locked inside of me.
I just had this with my dad, who's a dream analyst. That was what he taught in university, was dream research. And he called me the other day and was like, I had the most bizarre dream and I cannot figure it out. And then he told it to me. I'm like, this is so easy. It's this, and this. And he was like, oh my God, you blew my mind. Like he has all these unresolved issues with his dad. And he dreamt that his dad came back to life, or they were talking. And my dad is saying to his dad, like, I can't believe you've been alive this whole time. And his dad's like, yeah, I've been living in Romeo, Michigan this whole time. Where have you been? You never come to visit me. You visited your mother. You never come to visit me. And my dad's like, I tried 20 times to find you. I've never. Anyway, so I'm analyzing this dream, and my dad, I go, your name is Jerome. You were called Romeo growing up, Romeo, Michigan. Your dad's saying, I've been here the whole time. He's saying, I've been inside. I'm in Romeo. He's inside you. He's always there. He's waiting to connect with you. And I go, also, your dad was emotionally unavailable. So you're saying in your dream, I've tried
I like that
many
you're doing
times.
Dream analysis with your dad, and everything comes back to your dad. Like when you bring a dream to your dad, is he always just kind of like trying to tiptoe around the fact that it's about him? Like, does he ever acknowledge, like, does he know about dad issues?
What do you mean?
Like, isn't most stuff about your dad? Like, not you,
most stuff is
but like
about you in your dream. Like, you are the rapist. You are Nikki watching Nikki.
Oh, I'm the rapist?
Mm-hmm. You could be.
I don't want to be the rapist. That's not the way I want it to go.
Usually your subconscious is trying to integrate stuff. So you're healing something within yourself. It sounds like maybe you think there's a part of, does any part of you feel like you sold yourself out with this situation? Like,
Not that situation. No. If anything, I felt like I was very authentic and like did for the first time like what I wanted and didn't give a fuck, and was like I felt probably more myself than ever regarding that situation, or felt like a woman, you know.
So the Nikki in the dream who's watching Nikki get raped.
Oh God,
what's she doing? Are you actually in the room, or it's
eating
just
popcorn? Eating skinny pop.
Just throwing it into and trying to catch it with your mouth.
A snack.
I'm like, choke her a little bit. This will turn around. She'll start liking it.
There you go. You're healed.
I don't know what I was doing. All I know is it was a night of like struggles to sleep, and then I woke up and I was bleeding. You know, like it's a period. Pre-period. I mean, I don't think that's all of it, because my old, abusive therapist, my abusive, Dr. Abusive, she used to say that when you say like, I'm on my period, like I'm really fucking upset right now, it's like, it's all your emotions are still what is inside you. It's just being expressed. There's no more walls up. The dam is broke because you're on your period. It's not because your period's giving you these feelings. Those are still inside you, regardless of if your period's there or not. So this whole excuse of like, you're wackadoo because your period, yes, it might be heightened and it might come out like whoosh, but it's not to, don't invalidate your feelings because you're on your period. Just know that they're heightened.
For an abusive therapist, she had some really good points.
Oh my God. I think I got a lot out of this lady. I'm not a beauty. I'll never be a model. Thank God I'm not a model. Models hate themselves. Models are the most miserable people in the world. I always come back to that. But you're not a beauty, and you never were. Your dad told you were beautiful at a young age. You didn't trust him. So that like you knew you weren't because no one else said it. So why would that be? Why would your dad know this thing that wasn't true? So you'll never trust your father.
Okay, I take back what I said.
That's a pretty good one, though. Where I was a smart enough kid to be like, I know I'm not a knockout. Like, this is, I see girls that are knockouts. I see what happens when they live their life. I see the compliments they get. I'm constantly observing what other people get, and I don't. It's like my superpower.
She was wrong. Your dad authentically believed you were beautiful because he saw the beauty in you.
Yes, but I couldn't trust him because he did not line up with what everyone, it'd be like saying like the sky is green. And I'm like, I know he believes that, but he's wrong.
Like,
and so
he's
I'm not going to trust
source.
Exactly. I can't trust anything else he says good about me because he's so off about this thing. and it's true. Like I would bring home like a painting or something from art class, and he'd frame it and be like, you're a genius. He would literally say that. And I go, well, this can't be true because no one at school is putting this on a wall. You know, like there's a lot of people that are coming to like are touching this art, are seeing it. It's getting in front of them. Principals aren't putting it up. No one's really recognizing it. So you start to just go, well, I can't really, the one person who believes in me, I can't trust him because. And so I hate this whole idea of like, if there's one person who believes in you, they're probably your dad. And they probably are delusional and they love you because they have to. And they see beauty in you because you kind of look like them. And they might be a little bit of a narcissist like we all are. Sorry, Dad. And he loves me. Anything I do, he loves. So do you relate to that? Like when your parents were like, you're amazing. Like you couldn't really trust. I was just
My
like,
parents
no.
Never said that to me. It was always like something.
I don't know which is worse.
Yeah, it was like anything I did was not good enough. It's like, unless you're a doctor. And I'm like, I'm 8. Okay.
Well, that's so sad.
I'm going to be a podcast
No, that's
producer.
definitely worse. I can't imagine a parent not saying those things.
My mom used to walk
Obviously.
behind me when I would walk home from school. I remember being 7 or 8, and she was going,
She would, like,
"Какая
catcall you.
красавица, какая красивая красавица," which means, what a beauty. Look at that. She would always be like, look at that posture. She has a neck like Audrey Hepburn. Look, but it was a little fucked up because it was like,
Yeah,
I was
she's like
walking
catcalling
home.
you.
I know.
She's like the creepy guy that follows you, and you're just like, okay, thank you. And then they keep walking behind you, and you're like, oh God,
Mom, leave me alone.
is this a coincidence, or does this guy live near me? Yeah.
I did feel like, oh, I guess I have amazing posture.
So you
I'm a
believed
beautiful
it.
girl. But then I had my dad on the other side being like, oh, you're going to inherit, our terrible self-esteem. You're going to inherit your mother's Russian nose. You're going to inherit. Like, he was always putting these weird ideas in my head of his own insecurities. So I had a balance of someone who really believed in me and loved me, and then my dad who was like, oh, you're probably going to lose all your friends, and you don't have a very strong voice, and you'll never sing at the Met. Oh, wait,
your dad didn't say that. That was your dentist. Okay.
Conflating.
Well,
some important men in my life.
It's like, I'm glad I can fact check that one for your dad. So I sent you this earlier today, Anya. You didn't see it. You have like a million things I sent you in your Instagram folder to look at. I'm like jealous of you. It's like a private Reddit feed I've made for you of the most interesting things.
Oh yeah, 9
No,
things.
I should have put you on all of it too. I don't know why I didn't. But this one is specific to like Anya because she knows this person. I follow this like plastic surgeon. And I'll say to protect their identity, they posted all of these photos of a before and after. And then at the very end of this caption of like highlighting what the girl wanted and then what they decided to give her. And then at the very end, it says, isn't she the cutest?
Oh my God.
I can't ever go see this person ever. I will never see a doctor that sums up an entire surgical procedure and shows before and after picture and say, isn't she the cutest? Does that make you kind of sick?
Yeah, I gotta say, the after is cute.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
But she doesn't have on harsh lipstick either.
True.
And yeah, that the lip lift is the thing to do. If you're looking to get any surgery, the new thing is a lip lift. The space between your nostril and your lip is too long, probably. So you should fix it by getting the skin cut out and lift it up. And then if your lip is just lifted up a bit, that is what is pretty much setting every celebrity apart from the way you look. And you'll never be as good as them. And
but don't worry about it.
But don't worry about it. There's some other things I sent you. I said, this one made me laugh. You know what the Bechdel test is?
Oh, I forgot what that is. A personality test?
No, it's what they run through movies to see if a movie passes the Bechdel test. It has to have one scene where one woman and another talks to another woman and they don't talk about a man. And it's like no movies pass it. No movies have one. All it needs is to pass the Bechdel test. One scene where two women talk to each other and they're not talking about a man. And
what else would they be
movies
talking about though?
Well, this one says, someone pointed out to me that, oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. Passes the Bechdel test. And I haven't stopped laughing for a week. And I loved that. They could be talking about a job, themselves, other women, anything. Yeah, exactly. What else would they be talking about? And then I sent you some mean stuff of a cute dog thing, a Joan Rivers clip, and then a Succession meme. So there's some really tasty treats in there for you.
Thank you. This is my own personal Reddit dump. I love these. I look forward to these because I don't have notifications on. So at the end of the day, I'll be like, yes, Nikki sent me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
You're my news feed.
It's fun to send stuff. But they have this trick now on Instagram where it'll be like, it'll show like a vacation spot and like this beautiful water. And like, it's like the first person you send this to, if you go to your sends and the first person that shows up to send this to is who you should go on this vacation with. But it's just a way to get people to send things to people. And it kind of works on me because I'm like, it's you. But yeah, you're my first one when I pull it up because I'm mostly sending things to you. Let me just see.
You're always my first.
Okay. So this one, I'll just do it on Instagram. So here we go. Yeah, you're my first, then Chris, then my sister, then Noah and you, then my mom. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Okay, you're first. You and Noah are second. Matt is third. My friend Jenny is fourth. I send her a lot of stuff. And China's fifth. And then the Nikki Glaser podcast. Wait, this can't be right because Chris Convey's seventh. I've only sent him something like once.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
I went to go see a musical last night.
What did you think? Beautiful.
So is a musical?
I like music.
Is it like a play or is it just like an orchestra?
It's a play with songs.
Okay.
It's a musical.
Have you ever seen a musical?
I think. Well, I've seen Rent, but I don't like.
I
loved Into the Woods is my favorite musical and West Side Story, but music. I turned to Chris at one point, like maybe 5 minutes in, and go, I got to write a musical because the jokes are terrible.
Oh, Nikki.
And this is critically acclaimed. I mean, they're just so bad. The dialogue is
I don't
awful.
remember jokes.
There was one funny one where it was like, yeah, I've got like, and she talks like Brooklyn, you know, she's like playing Carole King, and she talks like this the whole time. She really actually sounded a lot like Sherry O'Terry. I was like, this seems like the Sherry O'Terry biopic, because she was just like moving like her and kind of just, jazz hands about everything, because that's the musicals. They're just like that. And, the like high kicks and Sherry O'Terry. So anyway, she was like, one joke that I liked was like, oh, he'll never go for a girl like me. He likes girls like that. Look at her body. I got all... The places that I'm supposed to be small, I'm too big. And the places I'm too big that are supposed to be big are too small. It's like, I got the right amount of body. It's just in the wrong places. Like, it's like stuff like that. God. It's like, and the median age at this 11,000 seater at the Muni, which I'd never been to in St. Louis, it's like, it's been around forever. We said the Pledge of Allegiance. We sang the Stars. We had to go face the flag and do the Star Spangled Banner before. And I go, Chris, what is happening? And he was like, this is like from back, this place has been around 50 years. I'm like, so is like segregation. Like, we have to let some things go. Like, I don't like this argument of like, it's tradition, but happy to be there. And it's gorgeous.
I guess
it's
you
an
don't love
outdoor
your country.
No, and you know what? I'm like, you know what? I can get into the fucking Star Spangled Banner. Why not? But then I was just thinking, we arrested Trump yesterday. I was kind of feeling proud, but I was also like, we elected him, and I was just kind of going through all the emotions during it wasn't Pledge of Allegiance. That would be insane. Sorry, it's not a third grade classroom.
Oh, that's what I thought you were doing. I'm like, that is wild.
No, it was the Star Spangled Banner, and they had to make the announcement of like, if you can stand, because most of the audience couldn't. I said to Chris at one point, I go, in 20 years, if you just did a click, like 20 years, everyone's dead here. Literally, no, it's that old. It's really sweet that these people go out and do this at 8:15 at night. We were out till 11 at night. But musicals are just, it was fun. The singing is amazing. Like, that's the incredible
hits,
thing.
Huh? Hit
and
after
she has
hit
so many
after
hits. But you saw that musical twice?
Yes, I went alone once, and then I know Carol's daughter, Louise Goffin. She's a friend of mine.
How did you get through it twice?
Yeah, well, go with her daughter, and that will make you fucking absorb
because she's in
moment.
It. The daughter's like a big part of it.
Well, when I told Louise, I go, "Have you seen Beautiful?" Initially, she's like, "No, I have no interest in seeing that. I grew up with my mother. I get it." And I was like, you got to see it. It's fucking wild. And do you know that you're in it as a baby? Like, you're in all the scenes.
Yeah, she is.
And she just like, I felt weird telling her about it. And then a few months later, she's like, I'm coming to New York. I have an extra ticket. Would you come with me? I was like, I would be honored. Are you kidding? So I'm watching it with her, and I'm like sobbing through the entire thing because it's just so eerie. And like, I know her sort of her history with her family, and it, maybe wasn't all totally rosy.
Her? She's a musician.
We met at a songwriting camp. Yeah. Okay. And I was a fan of hers years ago. I loved her first record and was like, this is so good. And yeah, we wrote some songs together in Tulum once with
I literally looked her up afterwards because I go, if she is the product of Jerry, the lyricist, and then Carole King, the composer, she's got to be musically inclined. And she was. She has like a ton of stuff out.
Oh, she's amazing. And she's so nice and so funny. And she has like a songwriting
what's her name on
she does songwriting session? Louise Goffin. But yeah, it was pretty wild watching it with her. And then she was like, you're right. This was great.
It is great. The music is great. And it's just fun. It's just fun to watch like the sets being moved around and like all of the stuff that goes into production and like, and also to hear their amazing voices. And I have to say, I was just jealous the whole time of just like them not only being able to sing, and I can't fucking do anything. My throat was burning, that it started burning. Nothing was happening. I was chewing on cough drops, and I started having like a reaction to my jealousy and envy of like these young people just belting, and like, why didn't anyone take me aside and teach me to do this? I could literally be up there doing this. No one cared to like. Yeah, I was obsessed with musical theater in high school. I mean, do I want to do it now? Yes. I mean, I would like to do. I'm now, I think, hoping to get famous enough that someone will like cast me in something someday.
You should do Chicago.
I don't like that musical. I want Into the Woods.
Okay.
I want to be
you already know the part.
baker's wife. Into the Woods. It's an alto role. No. I can't sing right now.
I thought that was like a rapping part where you're like, and into the woods, and this is the thing.
The witch? I would like to, actually, that's the role I want. I want the role of the witch. Greens, and nothing but greens, parsley, pepper, cabbages, and celery, asparagus, and watercress, and fiddle ferns, and lettuce, he said, all right. But it wasn't quite, because I caught him in the autumn in the garden one night. He was robbing me, raping me, rooting through my rutabaga, raiding my arugula, and ripping up the rampion, my champion, my favorite. I should have laid a spell on him right there. Could have turned him into a stone, or a dog, or a chair. But I let him have the rampion. I'd lots to spare, but in return, however, I said, fair is fair. You should let me have the baby that your wife shall bear, and we'll call it square. So I had a brother? No, but you had a sister. So I let him have the, anyway, that's all I remember. I could do the rest of it forever and ever, but yeah, they did that musical in high school, and I was obsessed with it, and I played Snow White, and I had one line in the finale performance. You are like a whore on the prince's shoulder because he is now like let go of the princess at the end, and then he's just like, you know, a bachelor now in this wonderland, that this fairy tale land, and I'm Snow White, and I just had sex with him with the girl that's with Sleeping Beauties on his other shoulder, and we just go,
in elementary
excuse
school?
me. No, this is high school. I mean, that's the connotation that he's a Lothario now. Like he's
your professor,
walking around with two
your
women.
teacher at the time is like, okay, so your motivation is you just fuck this guy.
I mean, do you know high school drama coaches? They're all kind of like that. There's always like a
Did you have to wear a black wig?
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I was just like, but it was a good, I can't imagine seeing that twice though, because it's so long and intermissions have got to go. Just keep it moving, honey. I want to just, it's not that, I just kept being like, we got an intermission, and I'm always figuring out how much more there is to something, even if I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I'm always figuring out when is this going to end. Why do I do that? Do you guys do that? I'm all the time.
During everything.
Yes. I almost Googled beautiful the musical running time, and I'm like, I think this is like an accordion. It's based on which production, but I'm always anytime I type in a movie, Google knows, put in running time, because Nikki Glaser's looking up how long this fucking thing is. That's what I want to know.
In Europe, we had to negotiate. Matt was advancing all the shows. He had to negotiate with every city in Europe that we did not want to do an interval, because in Europe, they do intervals. A comedian will do 40 minutes, walk off stage, and come back and do another 40 minutes and finish the show. And guess why?
So people can go to the bathroom?
That, but mostly they just want to sell booze.
It's smart. Everything's marketing. That makes sense.
But
and that's why they do
what
it.
What are you doing Doors?
Too.
Doors is an hour long of booze purchasing and drinking time.
Because then people are too scared to get up and get something once the show has started, and then they lose out on. And that is the only thing that keeps theaters alive. Really, is like they get screwed on tickets, just like the artist does. Like promoter, like it's all fucked. They gotta make those concessions. They gotta. It makes sense, but it is hard to do as a comedian.
But it's a long night.
It is a long night.
I do a half-hour interval at most of these places.
You know what I like about intermissions? They give you a chance to go, do I really give a fuck about the rest of this? It's like, when you're watching a TV show.
Then you could just
leave. That musical? Evan Hansen.
Yeah. I can't believe
that. Oh, you went back and stayed.
Yeah, I went back and stayed. But I can't believe that people love musicals so much. Like, it was really touching to me that everyone in this audience was like, we go to every single one. People love them, and they're so corny. Like, they're really. Did you not think The Beautiful was corny? I thought it was going to be, but it has to be, because that's what musicals are.
I'm honestly going to say, of every musical I've ever seen in my life, I think Beautiful was my favorite, because it was emotional. I cried a lot. That's what I'm looking for in a show. I want to cry. I want to
imagine crying during that show. I don't care whose daughter was sitting next to me. I don't even know where you would have cried.
And
at
Waitress
any point.
Was so good.
Yeah, there's some that they can be great. It just the dialogue just like, it's just like everything feels like a middle school play. Yeah. Everyone talks like this, and everyone walks like this, and mimes like this. And it's just like, but I know that's what theater is, because it was based on before we had amplification. So you had to be very big. You had to play the back of the room and make it so big. And it's weird to me though, Carole King's music especially, I want to hear it done in the Carole King style, not like tons of vibrato, like, like it's like musical theater is done in a certain way of like, and they sing like this and everything must be like so
Yes.
and Carole King doesn't sing like that. So I found that to be a little jarring. Did you see that?
Yes. I wonder who played her, but I didn't feel that the singer, I think I saw Jessie.
No, she was great.
Jessie, I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she was also in Waitress. I saw her sing the Carole King part, and she seemed understated. But I remember when I was hanging out in New York with some Broadway friends, they kept having me play this place called 52 Below, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
50s. I forget.
I think it's not.
Anyway, it's a Broadway place, and all the Broadway singers like go there and they have drinks, and then they do like an open mic thing. And I was asked a few times to go, and I was like terrified. I'm like, please, no, I don't want to perform with Broadway singers. I don't have.
Yeah, it's next level.
And they, my friends who put it on, were like, you absolutely have to. They love you. And I remember I was like so shocked that these people liked my voice because I have this soft, kind of airy voice and I can't belt it out like they can. And my Broadway friends were like, no, they're fascinated by voices like yours. I'm like, are you just being nice? And she's like, I swear to God, because they have to sing this way. And they're like, I don't know. She might have just been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different, it's completely different. But we associate that kind of voice with like, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to belt it out like that.
You could with the right training. You just weren't trained to do that.
I guess
that's what I'm
comedy,
saying. Like,
would you kind of equate it to improv actors who don't even do stand up? They just do like the improv theater.
Like the difference between Broadway singers and rock singers.
Yeah. And like just,
or like
a singer-songwriter like Anya.
Yeah, maybe. Of like that one doesn't respect the other. Shit. Not gonna say who. No, the only reason stand-up comics don't respect improv comedians is because we don't. I'll speak for myself. I don't think I could do that, and so I have to make fun of it because I fear it. That's
sketch
for me.
Comics, is that what that is?
Yeah, like
and the same for Broadway. If I'm making fun of a Broadway voice, it's because
right.
I can't belt like that, so I have to put it down because I'm scared of it.
Right.
Which is what we do with literally everything in life. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go pee, and we're going to come back and do some more. We're back. Ways to get Noah. Do you like musicals?
I do not.
Why?
I think and it's no offense to the actors or anything like that. I do think there's a lot of professionalism behind it, but I find it too corny.
Yes.
Like what you were saying,
feel the same.
The overacting into the music, and it was just
yeah. Have you guys watched The Idol yet? The new HBO thing.
Is it worth watching?
I haven't watched it. I'm just curious if you've seen it. I don't think I ever will because I don't want to see an anorexic girl having penetrative sex. I mean, I watch that enough in my porn. I feel like I don't need to see Lily Rose Depp being like, fuck. I hear there's a scene where she has to be fully nude and The Weeknd is like literally wearing a turtleneck.
I read a lot of things about that that were not cool about how the female actors were treated on set.
Me too. Yeah. But then
Turns
I saw a
out
post.
He might be a bad guy.
But then she posted something where she's like, I love these guys and my teammates and they were so incredible and I'm so lucky and they love you guys.
There's not a gun to my head and I'm not terrified of not getting work anymore if I speak out about what really happened.
Speaking of
I
which,
saw that too.
I watched the 4-part Duggars series. I can save you anytime you might want to save.
I watched 2 parts of it and I think I could probably finish it for you.
Yeah.
So Josh Duggar touched his sisters when they were young. We don't have any details about it because they won't speak about it. So what's the point of the fucking doc? It's all the evangelical church. It's that one guy that started the church and then he kind of trained Joe Bob Duggar to take this and actually be proselytized to the whole world through TLC. He made the show. They knew about Josh, the oldest son, touching the little girls. So they sent him away to a camp or to go build houses in Bolivia where he wasn't going going to be around kids, except yes, he was. And then that's where I left off.
And then they covered it up, and they never gave their children any money. When they finally put their foot down and said, we're broke, we would like some money for the show we've been working on forever. He paid them $10 an hour. Like barely. And
they never unionized. The Duggars unionized.
A couple kids were like, she was pregnant, and one of the ones that had been abused.
The interesting part I liked was like these kids talking, these other kids that grew up in the same kind of church system. I forget what it's called, IBSL or something. It's called like IBS. Yeah, they grew up in the same cult. They said that when they watched the Duggars, they related to this family of like, everyone's like placid and always happy. And there's no kids screaming or no spikes of like enjoyment. There's no running around. There's no playing. These kids are just docile. And I'm always watching it being like, these are such good, well-behaved kids, but they're robots.
Yeah, they abuse them as babies. They teach them to be docile. So if they go off a blanket,
I want to start doing it at the forest. Wait, this is in the doc? This is interesting. Okay,
they put them on a blanket. And the mom Duggar, she said you just put them on a blanket, and then when the baby goes off the blanket, you beat them in the name of God until he understands that he's not allowed to go off the blanket and he's not allowed to cry.
Oh my God.
So much fun.
Wait, she says you beat them in the name of God, or does she say you spank them, or does she say something sweeter? She doesn't say beat, right?
I don't know what they say, but basically like use the rod of God or whatever. I don't know, but they spank them over and over, and the baby keeps crying. And I did it once with my son for 8 hours until he finally stopped crying.
Oh my God, I can't even handle this. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I just always have to like
exercise they do for all the babies that are born in that religion.
Whenever I think of a child suffering, I just age it really quickly and make it so that it's old enough to like try to understand what happened to it and maybe make peace with it. Do you ever do that? Like, I can't stand thinking about children being abused, so I just age them really quickly in my mind and go, okay, cut to 20 years from now when they're fucking drug addicts and, on intervention, nodding off in a shed after they fucked some guy in a Best Buy parking lot for enough money to buy heroin or whatever it was. Like, I just picked, even though that's not a better reality, I feel like, okay, this adult can maybe go to therapy and understand what happened to it. And I do the same thing with like really fucked up adults, and I go, just make them babies and then you'll like empathize with them. Like, I just do it both ways to like soothe myself.
Yes, that makes sense. I got to stop watching all these documentaries, I think, for a while. Maybe I should watch The Idol.
I was thinking like, why? Because
for fiction,
like a lot of the girls like watching the documentaries, and I used to watch documentaries. I just can't do it anymore. And I think it kind of goes to the conversation we talked about yesterday with gossiping, because it is kind of like a gossip tale on this family. Not that I'm saying they did anything right or, anything like that, but
right.
It's like, do they have any of the children on there to talk about their experience, or is it just from like another perspective? So I wonder
on the Duggars?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's all the kids.
Yeah. It's all the kids.
Oh, okay.
They definitely, they talk about what happened, but yeah, not in explicit detail, but they do finally come out.
That's the problem. I'm like, I want to know what he did to you. And I know I'm a little fucking sicko that I want to hear the details of.
They do say what they found on his computer, and there's audio of the police, meeting up with Josh and being like, hi, we're here because on these devices there have been, we found this type of child pornography. And he's like, oh, is it from my devices? Is there something up with these devices? So it must be my employees, or I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. Well, 1 in 20 people, 1 in 20 people have watched child porn. And that's a current statistic. So just know that if you are in a group of 20 people, one person has watched child pornography.
It wasn't your garden variety, whatever that means, but it was like incredibly disturbing and violent. So yeah, it's what was the word yesterday, Noah? Soul slashing?
Slaughtering of the soul.
Soul slaughtering. It's a little soul slaughtering.
Well,
soul slaughtering.
But these documentaries, they do make me so mad. And the Jared from Subway one is the other one that you like paired with shiny happy people. That was a nice pairing, like a red wine and a pasta. And that one was fucking sick. But that one, I mean, Chris also watched both of those back to back, and I did an impression of the woman in the Jared from Subway one, and was just like, what he said to me next will stay with me forever. And it's like, they don't tell us what he said next. Like she just keeps saying shit like that. By the end of it, I'm like, someone molest this one. Like, I'm bored with her. Not that I want anything. I was just, and she's a hero. She went undercover trying to pretend that she was like into kitty stuff so that she could get Jared from Subway to admit on tape that he likes his stuff. And she came up with a whole file. She worked with the FBI. The FBI then were not doing anything with all the evidence she was giving.
What a surprise.
Exactly. They had this case going with her where she would have to wear a wire and pretend that she was into this fucking guy that she was disgusted by. She would get off the phone with him and just puke.
Well, they threatened her. They said what you did was illegal. Yeah. So she had no choice
without
to work with them.
Yeah. At first she recorded Jared without his knowledge and without working with the FBI. She just did it herself because she was a news reporter. She was doing an interview with him at a middle school. And she had no idea. She was just like, oh, this is an inspirational guy that lost a bunch of weight eating Subway sandwiches. And he leans over and says something about, I'm really attracted. She didn't even say what he said to her, by the way.
Yeah,
we never get that.
He said that he goes, I'm really attracted to middle school girls.
Why don't we have, first of all, why don't we have clips from that interview where she then is interviewing him right after he said this to her? Because they literally go 3, 2, 1. He's like, I'm really attracted to middle school kids. Action. And she's like, hi, I'm here with Jared from Subway. Wouldn't that have been an interesting part of the documentary? And don't look like did they put it in? It was not in there. The interview that she did with him. No footage of that. Right after he said that to her.
The interview. I thought that there were no more interviews after that. I thought he
said it to her right before they started the interview. And she said, I had to interview him having just heard this and had to put on a smiley face.
Great
I'm like,
point.
Show that. That would have been interesting. But maybe there was some legality behind it. But so then she took it upon herself to be like, okay, he just said that fucked up thing to me. I think this guy is up to no good. And he is going on all of these middle school tours to try to get kids, running and jerking, and he's trying to get these kids active so he can fuck them. And so she decided to, and he's into adult women too, which a lot of people that are into child pornography, by the way, they like adult women too. It's not just one or the other. It's actually very an interesting thing you can hear about on the Sam Harris podcast that if you DM me, I'll send it to you. But so he was into her, this woman, and she could tell that he was flirty, and that's why he even kind of shared that with her, the middle school girls thing. And so then she was like, okay, I'm gonna just pretend I want to date him. And so she followed up with him and was like, hey, I'd love to hang out. And so then she went to his hotel room and recorded him, and she was he tried to kiss her and stuff, and she pushed him off, and he was kind of persistent. So when he went to the bathroom, she ran out and then just began a relationship with him where she would be like, I can't see you. I hate this. My phone, my FaceTime doesn't work, whatever it is, the lies that women do to not have to actually see someone. And, I can't get away from work, the kids, it's so busy. So she would just be talking to him for hours a day on the phone. So she finally went to the FBI and was like, look at all this stuff I have. And they were like, you broke federal law by recording someone without their permission.
She's a news reporter.
Don't cooperate with us. Exactly. But it's still breaking federal law, even to do your own little investigative news journalist thing for your little local Florida station. And so as I said, if you don't cooperate with us to actually bring this guy to justice, we're going to charge you. And so she was like, okay. So then they're telling her exactly what to say on these calls. And it's so traumatic for her because she has to talk about wanting to fuck kids with this guy and act like she's into it. And so she has him admitting that he wants to, admitting that he's done it in Thailand, all of these things, and they're not doing anything with it. They won't go in and arrest him. So she was like, I'm just going to go public with all of this. Fuck it. That'll ruin him. That'll stop him. And then she tried to do that, and I think they shut her up. It ruined her life.
It really did.
She has chronic pain now. She developed nervous disorder.
Her children were really gravely affected by it because they knew something was up with their mom. And her daughter went into her notebooks one day and found all these notes because she would keep copious notes after each phone call just to have
what he would
evidence.
Say.
And then her daughter finds all this stuff and doesn't know what the fuck it's about and is like, ew, my mom is having a disgusting relationship with a disgusting person. And anyway, it just tore her whole life apart. It's so sad.
But she couldn't tell her kids because it was an FBI investigation. So she couldn't tell anyone. It just it reminded me of watching The Departed the other night. And Leonardo DiCaprio was like losing his mind because he's living this double life. He could get caught at any second. There's this amazing scene where he goes and he's wired for the first time. And if Jack Nicholson finds a wire on him, he'll cut his head off, and very slowly too, saw his head off. I mean, this guy's brutal.
What?
And he's wearing a wire, and he's just sweating so much. And he goes into the bathroom, and they're listening in the car, and then he goes into the bathroom, and he just takes it off, and he fucking throws it. I feel like he throws it out the window or something. He gets it off of him so he can go back in the room and chill out. Because if they catch him, that movie is so fucking good.
I gotta see that.
You've never seen The Departed?
No.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to see it. No, have you seen The Departed?
But I'll add it to my watch list.
Oh my God. My mom hadn't seen it, and that's why I watched it the other night. My dad was at music practice, and my mom and I were just trying to find some reality show to watch. And then all of a sudden The Departed shows up, and I'm like, you've seen
Does
this,
it take
right?
place in Boston?
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen to this cast. Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, what's his name? Martin Sheen.
Any women?
And the list goes on and on. There's Matt Damon. Sorry, Miss Matt Damon. It's insane. It is so
and I love
fucking
Scorsese.
good.
I can't believe I haven't seen it.
And there's the song in the beginning of it that I asked you about when we were in Europe, and you were like, "I've never heard that before." And it's the "Gimme Shelter," the Rolling Stones.
Oh, right.
Do you know that song, Noah?
Yeah.
Do you know that she says rape murder when she's like, rape murder? It's just a shadow away. It's just a shadow away. She's going, rape murder. I had no idea until I watched The Departed, and I saw the caption. I was like, this woman's screaming rape. I thought she was screaming, whoa, Jimmy. I thought she was saying, whoa, Jimmy, but she was saying rape murder.
That's what
I was
you
like,
say
this is my
during
kind
a
of
rape.
song. But yeah, it's one of the hottest sex scenes of all time is in that film. I literally have masturbated to that scene, and I only masturbate to hardcore gangbangs.
I have seen that part of the movie because you've brought this up before.
Oh yeah, I used to bring it up on the Serious show that we had. It is they play Van Morrison is singing. I think it's Van Morrison is singing "Comfortably Numb" by who does "Comfortably Numb"? Pink Floyd, yes, and it's Van Morrison singing it, and Leonardo DiCaprio shows up in the rain, and he's been seeing this therapist who's played by Vera
Farmiga.
Yeah, very familiar. Vera Farmiga. I think remember the sulk on Twitter? He made that distinction once that sounded like very familiar. Vera Farmiga. She's the therapist that Leo has to go see.
Oh, I think I have seen this scene.
And because I talked about it nonstop when we lived together. So he's seeing her, and she's horny for it, for sure. And then he is like, I am gonna fucking die if you don't give me pills. I am in panic constantly. He can't tell her really why because he's undercover and all these things. But he's like, I'm gonna kill myself, and it's gonna be your fault because I need these fucking pills. And she gives him she goes, here, some 2. And he's like, fucking 2? He was like, fuck you. And then he walks out of her office, and then she was like, she walks up, then she chases him down, and she's like, she hands him a prescription. And she was like, we're not seeing each other anymore. She was like, take this, but you're not my client anymore. She starts walking away, and she's like, just walking. And then he goes, hey, since I'm not seeing you anymore, you want to get some coffee sometime? And she's like, okay. And then they go and then it's hot. Leo's the hottest, by the way. But then, and she's dating the other guy. She's moving in with Matt Damon's character, who is his nemesis during the whole thing, but they don't really know it. This is not too much spoilers, I promise you. So anyway, she's moving out of her apartment to go move in with Matt Damon, who is his nemesis, but he doesn't even know it, and she doesn't know it. And Leo shows up at her place, and then it's just a very short scene, but I watched it a million times. It's the hottest thing ever. It's that tension before they decide that they both want to fuck. And if you could bottle that, I'd be on Skid Row, baby. If you could mainline the feeling right before two people who have never...
It really is the best.
That's the most depressing thing about monogamy. Without question, is that no more that feeling the rest of your life.
I think you can have it if you guys...
if you break up?
No. Well, yes, through that, but also...
Makeups?
If one of the partners goes out of town for an extended period of time, then comes back.
No, it's not the same as someone that you're like, I don't know if they want to fuck me, but I've been thinking about this for weeks and fantasizing about it, and this might happen, but I don't know. And like that tension before one person actually leans in, you will never have that again, ever, if you're married. And that is why I think most people were jealous of Taylor Swift's relationship, because she was having that kind of sex, and most people are married and not, and it's a bummer. And
with who? Matt Healy?
Yeah, who she's not broken up with. But yeah, like does that ever depress you guys? That you won't have that anymore?
Not until now.
No, that's not true. I've talked about this before.
No, because I remember very specifically when Avi and I had that moment. And
yes. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so it was okay, I'll just do a little recap.
It's hot, right? Like, was it so hot?
It was so hot. It was on like President Street in Brooklyn in Cobble Hill.
I thought she was going to say President's Day.
I did too. I was like, oh, did you get a mattress for sale too?
And it was after we met for our first date, after I did the book, Getting to I Do, in our DMs. And we met at a bar, and he's like, oh, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, water. I don't really drink. So we ended up going to like a little restaurant, and instead we just ate and had a good time, good conversation. And then he like walked me to my car, and I was like, oh, you don't have to walk me all the way to the car. Just walk me to the corner. And then we just kind of like looked at each other, and it was so romantic. Like it was nighttime, and the street light was on us, and it was on the corner. I can't remember it might have been like Court Street and President Street or something like that. And then he just kind of like leaned in, and we kissed each other. And then I just like ran away. I was like, okay, bye.
I did too. The first time Chris and I kissed, I ran away because I was like, I got it. I don't want to I don't want to fuck this up by doing anything else. This is just what I wanted. I have no plan after this.
He's like, where are you going?
Yeah, he literally was like, he said he'd never seen anyone call a cab like so quickly.
Wait, you kissed and then you ran away?
And then I like called a cab, and then he was like, do you want to come over? And I go, yeah, right. And then I got in the car. And I was like, I'll see you at work tomorrow.
What about you and Matt?
Didn't end the way your stories ended. I'll tell you about the moment that I love, that I think about all the time. It was a hot summer day. I had just done a silent retreat for like 3 or 5 days or something. He picked me up from this place. We were not boyfriend and girlfriend, but I was probably meditating about him the entire time, all horned up. It was summer. I was hot as hell. I was like so horny for him. And I remember we went to lunch or something, and then we came back to his place, and he's like, do you want to watch Stop Making Sense about the Talking Heads? Like the Jonathan Demme documentary. Have you seen that? I was like, whatever, put anything on. I don't care. And we're lying on his bed watching Stop Making Sense. And the window is open.
Had you kissed before? Yes.
We had kissed before, but it had been like a year. And I was like dying to see him.
Oh yeah, that you're right. A year, and also you guys weren't together. So
and we had already had sex before. But I was wearing this blue silk dress that was really thin. And I remember when he picked me up, he goes, I like your Quaker dress. Like he nagged me. Like it was something like, or he goes, I like your Mennonite dress. And I was like, Mennonite? What do you mean? And then we're lying there on his bed. And I just remember there was a breeze from the window. I'll never forget it. And my dress was fluttering up. It kept like fluttering up. And I'm just like, when the fuck are we going to kiss? I'm dying. I'm just like, when is this movie going to be over? I'm 30 minutes into this movie. And I'm just like, this guy is not making a move. This guy is not making a move. And the breeze is fluttering, and I'm just staring at my dress, and I'm like, I am dying. And then I just remember like my arm moved a millimeter and touched the hair on his arm, on his forearm. And like, I barely pressed into his forearm, and then he like rolled over, and that was the beginning. Like,
yes.
And I was just like the hottest moment of my life, because I was dying for it for so long.
Yes. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like the dying for it. Like I'm never gonna, I do yearn for my lover, and I like miss him. And there are times where it's like, oh, thank God. It's never as good as the first time. It's like the first bite of food. Nothing's ever going to beat the first bite, or like the first, it's just, and that kind of sucks. Final thought that I don't know, that you have to say goodbye to that the rest of your life and have no more of those. No?
I don't
I'm
think
alone.
so. That was not my first time.
Everyone has to act like they're fine with it, and I don't think anyone is.
I think
and
that
wasn't my first time.
I just cherish it. And then it's not
not
like
the first time. I'm just talking about you're never going to have that with Matt again.
I mean, you never know. I could be
You
in
have to
Boston
break
with
up,
my
though.
client and giving him pills.
There'll have to be some breakup for
Yeah.
that to happen again, is what I'm saying. So I guess
Yeah.
you do never know. But if things go the way that we all plan in marital bliss, you don't have that feeling again.
Yeah, there's not as much fear, danger. What does Esther Perel say? Eroticism needs danger.
desire.
Yes. Yes. Like even yesterday when we went to the Muni, there were some like girls that either Chris like knew for, like he kept saying like there was certain people being like Chris, and then he would go walk over these girls, and it turns out they were just like girls he works with that I've met before and are not threats at all, but they were like cute girls, and yeah, I was like so excited about it, like that it made me so much more into him to feel the threat of like. So, and not even the threat of like, this girl no one stands a chance. I know that. But also that really, that made me feel like alive again. Not again, but like for a little second of like, this could slip away, or like I have this threatened. I need that. I really need that. So
you get other kinds of feelings that you wouldn't normally get with someone that you're not with. You know what I mean? So could that be the trade-off?
It's a fun buzz.
Couldn't you get a
and
dog?
It's exciting
to feel those feelings too, like this unconditional love. Like everyone talks about these. No, I understand that, and I do. Like the things that the intimacy I have with Chris is intimacy. Nothing can ever touch that, but it doesn't spike my dopamine levels. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. Like the solid ground of like having a partner who will always have your back. It doesn't make my brain itch. It will never do that. And that's just science.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
such a drag that those dopamine hits are the ones that I remember from my life are all happened when I didn't have anyone having my back. So the stuff I was craving was like a guy I could count on too. But you know, I would have these dopamine hits once every, 8 months or something.
Until the other night. We were talking about like just wanting a man to like stare at us and just be like marvel at us, like I can't believe she's my girl, and like always protect us and like have a gentle arm. Like I send pictures to Rachel all the time, talked about this before, of just men's like nurturing hands on the back of their women, like, and Chris does that to me. It just feels so fucking good of just like like last night he had his hand on my leg, and like I didn't want to move because I didn't want to like stir it. You know when your dog like rests its head on your, and you just don't want to move at all because you know your dog will be like, I don't care anymore. And like, I was just like, I want to move, but my leg was like cramping, but I was like, I can't stop getting this hole. I like want it so bad. But I do believe what I think I just realized is that, yes, you can argue all day long that no, marriage provides and monogamy provides these stable feelings and all this good stuff. It's true. It's good for you. It's like good for your soul. People live longer who are like paired up. It's like what we're meant to do. But you do say goodbye to awesome feelings. It's the same as quitting alcohol or quitting drugs. Like anyone who's listening to this who has given up a substance knows that yes, your life does improve in these really boring ways. And these ways that just make that, but there's no more spikes. There's no more like, woo, the girls are here. Like you're not saying the girls are here anymore to anyone if you don't drink. No one's ever proclaimed the girls are in the house, unironically, if you don't have booze in you. So you'll never do that again. I will never be like, what's up, y'all? Woo! Like I'll never be that excited about anything in my life.
I don't know, dude.
I will never hear like an Usher bass beat and be like, what's up? Like it'll never happen because I don't have alcohol coursing through my brains to behave that foolishly.
Cut to Nikki puking in the shower.
No, I mean like you quit drinking for a reason, but there are there are things about it that made me feel amazing, and there are things about it that I miss so fucking much, and there are things about if I have ever done cocaine, I think I would have missed those feelings too. Like you're giving up something when you say goodbye to these things, and to I don't know. Like, I just can't get on board with monogamy being like, it's all good and there's no downsides. The fact that you'll never have a crush on someone again, you'll never wonder,
That's
like,
not true.
oh my God, does he?
You're still going to feel attraction to people. I mean, I know when obviously he's a hot girl.
It's like smelling food without eating it. It's boring. You'll never get to eat it.
Yeah, but I guess like the way I think about it is I could have attraction to someone and like flirt with them, but I get to be saved from that like extra step that I don't like when they finally hit on me and then I have to say no. It could kind of linger in that like purgatory.
Yeah, that's kind of fun actually. And yeah, I wouldn't be in a relationship if I valued all of these things more than a relationship. Like, why would I choose that? That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
In case Chris sees this and is like, then why are you with me? Because I would probably feel the same way if you were saying these things. I'm just saying I'm constantly like, really, me forever? No one else ever again till you die. You don't get to live again. You know that, right? Like, this is it. You don't get any more pussy the rest of your life. How could you? I mean, because
he loves your pussy.
I would ever be able to get what?
He loves your pussy. That's all he needs.
I know that I'll never have any dick probably the rest of my life, any different dick. I would not sign a contract that says like, I still want like anything could happen. That's what I want for the rest of my life. I won't admit that my parents are going to die someday. I won't admit admitting that I will never have a crush on someone and maybe like a first date with someone again is a tiny death to me that I'm not willing to give in fully to. Even if I do get married, I will still be like, there's always divorce. Like, and not that I want that. I don't even want it. I just need a trap door. Is that relatable at all?
Yeah, totally.
Like, just the way that I will think about my parents dying. I know they're going to die. I know that I'm probably going to be with Chris for the rest of my life. And if I marry him, I certainly will know that. But I still won't. I don't want to think about the fact that it actually and it's all fear of death. It's really essentially like, I'm not going to get a second time to do any of this shit again. The fact that I'll never be 17 again, the fact that I'll never be 27 again, like all of these things really depress me. I hate, like, I'll never have this day again. Like the second, like I'm 1 second closer to death now. It's all just fear of death, I think, is ultimately what this is. I used to have a joke that was like, men don't want to, become your boyfriend because they think like, if I go from being like casual with this girl to a boyfriend, then boyfriend equals like the next step is engaged. And then the next step is marriage. And then marriage is forever. And then I'm dead. And then it's like makes you think of death. It's a very close way. And, commitment is a close way to remind you that you're going to die someday. Cause it's like till the word death is in vows. It's crazy. But I realized that joke was my fear all along. That's what I'm scared of.
But it's relatable.
I was projecting it onto men who didn't want to date me. But the truth is I was choosing men who I didn't want to date me because I'm terrified to find someone that I'm forever with. And it fucking freaks me out. And that's probably why I'm having dreams where I'm getting raped every night.
On that note, we gotta go. I tried to get some dopamine out of Matt last night. We were having dinner. I lit candles. Then I looked at him. I was like, so when did you know I was the one? And he's like, I don't really believe in the one. I'm like, all right. Well, when did you know like you wanted to marry me? He's like, I don't know, babe. It doesn't matter. This is not going how I want it. I was like, I'm trying to get something romantic out of you. He's like,
they don't remember. They don't remember these. They don't. I bet Avi is probably like, oh yeah, that night. I don't know. Were we in Manhattan? Like he probably wouldn't be able to place the cross streets, or does he?
We relish that night. Yeah, no, he's very good about it. But I don't know. I just feel like there's nothing, and even if someone put you in that position, Anya, where it's like, do you remember like that and how we felt and all? It's like maybe it's just uncomfortable to talk about it and being put on the spot.
He did finally come up with a good answer. First, he said, "Well, he goes, I guess like the way we fight is like good." I'm like, the way we fight?
Your impression of him is hilarious.
That's how you decide you wanted to marry me. He's like, I mean, we do fight I feel like we resolve our conflicts. I'm like, I wanted something romantic. He goes, okay, hold on. I like that you're funny. You made me laugh, and I laughed a lot with you. And I think I just knew, she's weird. She's funny. I like that we laugh so much. So I guess that was when I kind of
nice.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to ask. Maybe I'll call Chris right now and ask him when he knew. Hold
on speaker.
Yeah, I think he's probably napping, but let me just.
I like how we resolved conflicts.
Yeah, that's like, I like that you don't cuss me out and say, fuck you, dick, and leave the room. Whatever you're doing, it's not that. It's actually pretty cool. He's going to be like, why is she calling me?
Hey, guys.
Answer like there's
I think you're in trouble.
I know. Or he's in trouble. Babe, I just found. Come on. Oh, he's asleep. Oh. Tell me why you love me.
When did you know?
He'd just probably say the same thing of like, you're funny and you're weird.
Maybe he can text it to you and we'll post it on Instagram. So besties have closure.
He won't allow that.
Oh.
He won't. Because I'll go, if I say it's going to go on Instagram, he'll be like, I can't, it'll be too much pressure for him to write something perfect. It just won't. There's no way.
Okay.
I'm glad he didn't even pick up because I doubt he would have been like, I'm not doing this. Like he has to like think about
being
things.
Recorded?
Yes. No, I would have told him I'm not like that bitch in that Jarrett Fogel doc. I'm just kidding. I love her so much. Thank you for your work.
I think he would say, what can I say? Glaze, she's like no other. I just knew when I saw her, this lady.
No, he did not know when he saw me. No. He was just like,
really?
I guess this, I think she's into me. I don't really know. Like he was confused by it. Yeah, no, he did not know right away at all. I've hunted this man down.
I know.
I'm a mastermind.
Matt told me that too. He goes, when did I know? When you told me you were the one?
Yeah. Listen to the song Mastermind by Taylor Swift. And that is how I feel about my relationship. And so do all of us, because it's like we read a book, bitch, to get this locked down. All right. Thank you for listening to the show this week. We'll be here next week. Don't you even think we won't? Have a great weekend. I'm going to be in Vegas with David Spade, July 30th and 31st. I'm going to be in Highlands, California, the 24th. And I have a bunch of tour dates. Let me look them up really quick.
September's Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, I'm September 15th, Chicago, September 16th, Peoria, Englewood, New Jersey, Calgary, Napa, Wheatland, California, San Francisco. I can't even, it's scrolling past too fast. This is the worst graphic I've ever seen. Who did then there's, I'm like, no one can find their date. Detroit, Pennsylvania, Ontario, Portland, Atlantic City, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Baltimore, Boston, Lawrence, Kansas, Riverside, Iowa, San Diego, California, and and that is not even all of them. We're still adding more. So thank you guys for coming to see me live. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll see you next time. Don't be and just don't dream what I dreamed last night.